Hello, everybody, and welcome to Adobe Live. We'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land in which we are creating and streaming from today and pay respects to elders past, present, and emerging. My name is Flynn, and I'm very delighted to be hosting today. We are live, and we are live on Behance, and we are live on YouTube. If you've got any questions at all, if it's your first time here, give us a little shout out. It's always great to hear where you're tuning in from. And if you have any questions whatsoever, we will do our very best to answer them. And I'm very excited to be live with Gabby from Pink Pony Creative, graphic designer. What's up, Gabby? Welcome to Sydney.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me. Very excited to get designing on our lunch break.
That's it. And we both get to eat lunch after the stream. So it's late lunch, but so I said welcome to Sydney because you are from New Zealand, but you've just moved to Sydney. So welcome to Australia.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm excited for the Aussie summer. I'm nervous.
Yep,
I came
not
from
there
a little
yet, are
beach
we?
town. Yeah, not there quite yet, just a bit chilly,
Yeah.
but it'll be fantastic. I'm ready to be full Aussie. We'll just wait for the accent to kick in.
Oh, yeah. No, it never does. It never does. Keep the New Zealand accent. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And yeah, hey, there's a few people jumping into chat. Chip is looking after us in chat. Thank you very much, Chip. Alejandro is there, Hannah is there, and Christy Campbell as well. Boss Lady is in chat.
Classic.
How's the support? I absolutely love it.
You know what I mean? We're a close-knit wee team. We are, all us girls.
That's awesome. And so you work for Pink Pony Creative. Of course, that's where Christy is from as well. Jess got in chat as well, saying, woohoo, go Gabs. Yeah, this is going to be great fun today. So Pink Pony is based in New Zealand and you've moved to Sydney, so you get to work remotely, which is super cool. We were just singing your praises, Christy, and the rest of the team as well, of how cool that is. It's a very lovely work environment. And how have you found it so far?
Honestly, it's been amazing. We're so lucky with the work we do, working with brands and so many different projects that it means working remotely because clients are from all over the world. It's so easy to do and so easy to take calls from different countries and get inspiration from different places. So I've been very, very lucky. And the girls, because we're such a close-knit team, it's so easy to just communicate back and forth, get at the goss, get the work stuff done. And it's, I'm so lucky.
That's awesome. Well, that's so great. So we we're getting everything together for this live stream, and I was really excited because this is a topic that I don't think we've really covered on Adobe Live, and I'm loving that InDesign's getting a little bit of love as well. I'm not going to give it all away. I'm going to let you do it because it's very exciting. But should we jump into it? Give a bit of a top level view of what we're going to get up to today?
Amazing. So essentially today, what I'm going to be showing is something I think as a company we stumbled upon accidentally. It was for a project called Hahana, that's a digital content creation and hosting platform. And we wanted to create something for them whilst creating their brand, a proposal that really showcased the content that they created, which in theory, it's just video. They do YouTube videos, TikToks, and everything under the sun that comes in such a digital age now. But with the work that we've been doing previously with the graphic design brands, we've been working on a lot of that is print work. A lot of it is Instagram, websites, t-shirts or branding, merch. But with this company, because everything is so digital, we wanted to find a way to showcase it, especially in that first proposal where we wanted to get the brand over the line in a way that would work for them and that would really showcase how the brand could look in its full digital capacity. So we did that through InDesign. We discovered some of the animation features on there and their web publishing tools. And we managed to create something simple yet effective.
That's so cool. All right. Yeah, I was really kind of blown away by this. It's been a while. I remember back in the day, like InDesign, you could build an interactive website through InDesign. And I remember no one really knew about that. I'm not going to tell you how long ago that was. But so I always love when, there's use of an app that you might not, necessarily think about at first. Like, you think InDesign, you think book publishing and multi-page documents and things like that, or interactive PDFs now. But yeah, so this is super cool. I love it.
Yeah, something I actually discovered recently whilst going through this, the idea of using InDesign for Webflow and for AppFlow projects, you could still do it now and it would look fantastic. There's so many opportunities or random things hidden within InDesign that you could use to do new things. Like I think next time I do any kind of web design, I probably do it through here, and just it's so easy to integrate with everything and the presentations that we do. So yeah.
Oh, cool. All right. Well, let's get stuck into it. Okay, so we're checking out your screen now.
Amazing. So I'm actually going to show you a non-animated version of this proposal first, just to give you an idea. So Hahana is based in New Zealand. What I'm about to show you is a simplified version of what one of our normal brand proposals would look like. So essentially, we can just go through the brand proposal. You've got your general look and feel. We can see it's a really kind of modern, edgy, typography-based brand. Beautiful layouts, you've got your general look and feel, and obviously this is all great, but again, this is a website and an app that uses moving picture, so you really can't get that full idea of how this is all kind of going to look when it fully comes together. But we even have here, like we've got a website, what the website could possibly look like. It's hosting TikTok, it's hosting culture, the team, what's on their vision, they've got all of their socials. What we do have here is that I'm going to show the interactive. So what you can do on InDesign, you can actually publish your document onto the Adobe internet, like how you would with their Adobe portfolio websites, and it's essentially hosted on the platform with your subscription. So you can update files as you go, or you can publish new ones. So this is a new document I've got here. You can see there's opportunity for simple animation here. That's something awesome. For this brand that we started looking at, that started the idea of animating the whole thing, is the idea of putting GIFs into the presentation. So here, these animations across the sides are actually GIFs that have been inputted into the brand that play, because it's an interactive PDF.
So that strip that's going down is a GIF?
Yes. Yep. So they're GIFs. They're not actually animated. Well, they are, but they're not actually animated within the presentation. That's so awesome. It's just as easy to import GIFs and video. You can even, in the last final page I'll show you, I've transported what's it called? Clear, where you can't see it. Transparent. Transparent, that's the word.
That's what I'm here for.
I've included a transparent video so you can layer videos and assets within InDesign.
Yeah, awesome.
But yes, you can see here, super simple animations, just to get that idea across. It kind of, it elevates the pitch. It creates a little bit of fun that people aren't necessarily expecting to see. Yeah. Here, especially with the socials, you can see we've got the idea of how the large typography comes into play and uses scale to enhance the videos that they've got, because they came to us they already had their videos, they had their TikToks, they had their subtitles that were generated by AI that looked kind of fine, but they're never quite perfect. They really wanted to find a way to style their video content in a unique, fun, modern way. They wanted to appeal to all audiences, not just the multi-audience that they're targeting here. So you can see here, like we've got GIFs playing in the background of this feature.
That's cool.
We've got, you can have things flying onto screen. Here we've got a fun little fade in coming behind these phones. Super easy to do. You've got typography that you can animate, which just makes it a little bit more, fun. And we even have a website flow here that we actually animated because we wanted something unique for how the content will be hosted on the platform. So we have this kind of rotating spectrum of the TikToks or videos that they would create. Something on this page also that I'll mention, we've used something simple that I'll showcase, is the use of hyperlinks. So in all of these PDFs, when you share them, which is just done through a link, so super easy for you to still get them to your clients and for your clients to share them with other people. Exactly the same thing as like sharing a Google Drive link. You've got the inclusion of hyperlinks. Everything still works, can take you straight to the Instagram. We also have the idea of buttons in here, which links back to what you were saying before about having websites that you can have and create through InDesign that actually essentially will work. Like here, I've linked this button to the first page, and it's something I think Christy, if you're still listening, I'll pitch to potentially do with some of these, if we do anything else interactive, even having the toolbar here that we have, you can include buttons so that if you were halfway through the presentation and you wanted to go back to the intro, you can click and it will just take you back there. And it's super easy.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's essentially what we'll do today, is create this.
I love the GIFs animating once as well. I think that I think that you know, every GIF has to loop these days because of social media and everything. But back in my day, you know, GIFs would often just happen once, and I think it was a really great use of that, because it's, if you look at, like, you know, a lot of modern websites, that was it. The Hannah where it comes in, or the phone where they come in. You can program a GIF to only animate once and then sit there. And I think a lot of people miss that. And this is a really excellent use of the old school OG method of GIFing.
OG. It's a nice little introduction, and it's that whole idea of having a transition or a continuous flow within something that you're watching. It really kind of creates, and especially for something like this where it's a brand presentation, something that we want, you know, to grab the client. We want them to get excited about it. We want them to be like, yes, I love all of it. They're like, go ahead, say yes, give the green light.
Totally.
It creates that momentum for them to get excited. And the next page, they're like, oh, it looks so cool. I can see it kind of coming to life. So it's been fantastic to use it for that.
And that effort of also, you understand their brand. You're not saying you understand their brand. You are demonstrating that you understand their brand, because they work in moving images and, you know, animate, like, motion communication. Anyway, we could talk about this for a long time.
Long time.
Get stuck into it. But yeah, I'm very excited. Very cool.
Amazing. So here in InDesign, I'm actually going to show, this is our animated version, and I just wanted to go over the interface for it because it is slightly different to your usual print for PDF or your essentials. So here we've actually changed the interface for interactive for PDF, and you get all these extra little additions here with your animations, your media, so you can see what media files you have on hand. Something like where I could use that. This is a GIF. You've got your animation toolbar. So this animates on, and you can see here the name of the feature. You've got your elements, how you can animate them. You can also work with timing. And this is also a very simplified interface. It's not like AE where it's, you really have to get used to it to know it. This is honestly, it's very reminiscent of, I think it is PowerPoint. I don't know if you guys were the same, but when I was maybe 8 years old and had my mum's computer and PowerPoint, I used to love, you know, getting those little clip art things and having them like zoom about the screen all crazy.
Yeah, star wipe everything.
Yeah, it's very reminiscent of that in terms of, it's an easy interface to use for the simple things. It's super easy to get started, and then having a play about, you can really finesse your skills and figure out how you like to do things. But yeah, you've got heaps of options here. You can also, I'm going to preview a video down here. This is probably a good page for it. Whoop, come back. So like for this page, we have a couple of animations going on. What we can actually do is we can open an EPUB interactivity preview. So this here, once it loads itself, will essentially give you a small, like low res preview of what it will look like, so that you don't have to completely export everything, look at it, and then realize, oh, that's not correct.
Yeah, so when you're finessing something just a little bit back and forth, then you know, you can do it a lot quicker.
Yeah, and so it's super easy. It also, all of the videos and the media it will show. It is a fantastic little tool.
And how did you bring that up? I missed
so
that.
It's just, once you click on an asset that's animated in your Wii animation, I wonder if I can make this, oh, bigger, maybe not. No, she doesn't want to. But just down the bottom here, we've got a couple of wee tools. So we've got this wee button here, which literally, it looks like a computer with a play button. That brings up your EPUB interactivity preview. You can also probably just chuck that in your toolbar if you really want it. Well, there you go. I put mine there, but that's where you usually find it. You also have your timing panel, which in theory shows you what assets are happening at each different time. So we've got the load of the phone, this phone mock-up here. The other groups I have are actually these little GIFs here. So they will animate one after the other. But something with InDesign that's actually made it super easy is essentially it will animate, unless you go into all the nitty gritty bits, it will animate in the sequential order that you animate them.
Yep.
So if I was like phone, this, it would animate phone, this. But yes, that's essentially how it looks when it's animated. But I'm going to jump into a non-animated version just to show simple, easy ways to do it so that it works once my little spinning wheel of doom decides to finish itself.
Doing that and the stream at the same time. Also, I'll remind you as well, if anyone has any questions as we're going along, we are taking questions. So don't be shy, throw them in chat and we'll try our best to answer.
Yeah, but so I'll go through this page first just because it's super simple. Something super easy. You might want to be like, yeah, let's have the logo move on screen. It looks spiffy and super easy to impress, just pop it on. But so what we do is essentially, oh, she's not flat, but animation. I'm going to delete this animation. And here, you basically start with a neutral asset. We can name it. So this one, I'm just going to call it Hahana Stacked for the logo. And we have presets. So super easy to use a preset. There's what we've got in up here, and you get a little preview of what it looks like up here with the wee butterfly. So that one, super boring. Rotate 180 degrees. You can see how it kind of rotates on. What I'm going to do for this one is I'm just going to go fly in from the left, because I essentially want it to start here at its initial animating point and fly into its finishing point here. Right. So the animation will always, especially for a lot of these, they're transitional animations. So they get you from one point to the other, but it will always animate unless specified otherwise to the point that you've got it on the screen. So it's never going to send it in a different place.
Right. So the end point is where it starts.
Yeah. Exactly. So for something like this, you can also work with these timing, the little animation line that pops up in green. I've got it here. These can be sized. So I could pop that super, super close like that. And that's going to make our animation pathway when I show it on the EPUB interactivity thing. Those loads. See how that's super short on the sweet Hahana? So I can also make it super long. And if I replay that, it comes in right from the side. If you notice that difference, it's a bit small. But there's a difference. It fades
in from 0% transparency too, doesn't it? No matter where it comes from.
Yes. So a lot of them fade in from transparency. You can change that. So here we have, I wish the screen was bigger, but here we have a wee opacity. So you can rotate, you can scale. So for these ones, this is scaled at 100%. So that's the size that I've essentially made it. If I wanted to, this is probably going to look awful. I'm going to scale that to 200% and I'm going to take off the fade in. So the opacity here, you can change it from fade in, fade out, or completely change it. And then I'm going to go into my EPUB. Bam. And it's going to supersize itself because I've changed that scale to the 200%. So that's where it's going to animate to. So I'll pop that back to 100. And then I'm going to keep the fade in. But essentially, that's super simple, and that is always going to play. So actually, no, I'll do that later. So with these ones, again, going into the animations, there's nothing here. It's a group. We might just put you. I'm going to choose for the preset for this one. We've got so many funky things. We've got, I think I popped dance on these ones. Like it gives a little wiggle. You can use spring, like there's so many different, that one's not pretty. You can use so many different little presets that you think work. Oh, what's that going to look like actually? I feel like some of them are a little bit iffy, but it's about playing around with, see that's going to bounce. I love that. Look at it go.
Off it goes.
But so there's so many options you can kind of use to really enhance your project. It's just about working through them, figuring it out, and making it look really seamless. Something I was going to show, so what I would usually use this for would actually be typography is a super easy way to do it with layering. You can use it for typography behind images using layers in InDesign to kind of get that transparent effect, having things overlapping. But with this one here, I was just going to go through and animate the sequence that we animated in the animation one because it's super fun, super easy. You can work with timings, create something that you'd see on like a title sequence, or for these guys, you know, an animated post to really enhance the brand. Yeah.
Awesome.
So with this one here, again, naming assets, I'm not going to lie, it's a 50-50 if I do or if I don't. But for this, you know, I'm a really good asset namer for the stream. We're going to go for this guy. We're going to fly in from the right. Again, we're going to look at that animation pathway and I'm going to go, I actually want it off screen. And we're going to keep it with a fade in. I'm also actually going to change the duration. So you can change the duration of the animations to make them a little bit more spiffy, or if you want like a really slow fade in, you can add extra time to that. It's super easy to change, and again, really easy to find. It's not hidden anywhere. You can also even change, you can keep things on loop. So again, as we were talking about GIFs, you can not have them loop, you can also have them loop. This could be amazing for things like having that at the start, we had the rotating text that just kept looping across the screen, coming on and off, you know, that whole modern idea. Then this guy, I'm going to have him flying from the opposite side, fly in from left. I almost had to do my car. That's why I don't have a license.
Left and right.
Left and right. That's why I don't have a license. Terrified. And then same.
You don't want to be driving around Sydney anyway.
It is slightly terrifying. Also, the wee delivery biker boys, all of them driving on the pathways and across the road like maniacs.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think I've been run over almost like 10 times.
Yeah.
And then they are daredevils. And then again, bring this off screen. So if we have a quick look at the preview, we can see, dun dun dun, whilst it loads, if it loads.
And so are you animating, is it text? Like, is that type in
so
InDesign, or does it have to be an image?
It does not have to be an image. So I was just lazy and dragged this in from AI, but you can do it with type, you can do it with images, you can do it with interactive assets. So you can change things as you go. It doesn't have to be a finalized render for it to work.
Oh, nice. That's great.
Yeah. So any asset works. So if you see there, we've got our type animating on. Amazing. It all looks great. This one, I might change the animation for all of them to be super fast, because why not? 25-second duration. And as you can see as well, the way that I animated them, it all worked sequentially, which, you know, makes it easy for you to remember. You can also see with the timing here, if we go into our show timing panel, you can see them all laying out in order.
Yeah, cool.
Which is really good.
I can see that you can add a delay in there as well. So if you want to, you know, you want it to delay.
I can even showcase it. I might delay Mary by a while, and we can go back into the EPUB, just play preview, and it's going to take her time. Mary. So yeah, super easy to use, really interactive.
Cool.
Yeah, it's not hard at all.
I very much appreciate the mini animation thing as well during a live stream. Like often, you know, you got to re-render something and then open it back up and then show it again. It can sometimes struggle a lot on a live stream trying to do all that in one like fluid motion. Yeah,
imagine it would be hectic, all the rendering and just the sitting and the waiting.
Yeah, exactly. Just checking in with chat as well. Yeah, Frank says super helpful. I think, I mean, when I see this, like something that reminds me a lot of, or I think a really great use case would be a portfolio as well.
Yes.
Like a graphic designer's portfolio, or, digital designer or something, like to showcase your work, to have a version. Because some people will say, hey, send us a PDF. Like, some people are still, that might seem old school to some people, but there's definitely agencies that are like, I want to see you send me a PDF that's like under 20 megabytes.
Yeah, exactly.
Like part of the brief.
Yeah.
Quite cool to have like an interactive version as well. It's like, hey, I've got an interactive version too. Here's a link, check it out.
Oh, exactly. Cool. And with these as well, it's almost like sharing a template link for a Canva file or something. You can update the link as you go. So if this was, say, a portfolio of mine, and I sent through a link to someone, or I had it set as like a proper link somewhere where I'd saved it, I can just update this presentation now, do whatever I want, save it, and essentially when we go to export, which I'll do again kind of at the end, you go publish online.
Yeah.
And when this pops up, you can essentially go update existing document. So it will update for you and everything will be saved. So you don't have to go through and resend out links or rechange things. Yeah, so it updates manually, which is fantastic. And it also means it's easy to find if you want to go back and be like, oh, yes, no, I see what that is. I can edit that. Yeah, so it's honestly fantastic. With these, I'm just going to fade these guys in. Everyone loves a good old fade in.
Can't go wrong.
Easy peasy. Can't go wrong. I'm going to shorten it a little bit though, so it's less boring to watch. The same with this one. And then I'm also going to add a couple of animations to our little icons here. I think for the other one, I did a little dance in, because that's fun. And you can see again the little preview here does a little wiggle. We love it. How cute.
Love it.
Here, dance, little wiggle, change the duration. Again, maybe I'll actually loop this one. We'll have these looping, which will probably be, I wouldn't recommend, would probably be incredibly annoying in a presentation, but we love to see it.
Right.
So here we can kind of see the EPUB, everything kind of comes in, and then those are going to keep looping their little animation. We love it.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it's something really easy to do, works with that text, especially if you were doing a brand, say, that did a lot of like advertising that you see on the TV or on YouTube channels. You usually will see a lot of heavy typography, big titles, especially now it's becoming such a big thing, especially in advertising. You want the title to be like, wham, buy this now. Having little examples like that, even if it was for an interactive billboard, say, that you were doing a digital billboard for someone and you had to present what it was going to look like on a mock-up, you could very easily create a layered mock-up in here where you've got your big screen, whatever, it's in the wilds, on a blue sky, create a transparent window and simply play what would be on there inside of this, export it, and the client can see how it would look in real life.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so lots of honestly interesting use cases. For this, I'm just going to show you the GIFs as well. So with GIFs and media importing into here, you have to be very careful. InDesign likes MP4 files. So when you're doing this, InDesign will also tell you, it will be like when you're exporting it, it will be like, yo, there is a MOV file in here. Please don't do that. So easy to remember, but here we can see I've actually got a GIF file and you can see that in your media channel. So it will usually come up. It's also the same like down. If I go right to the bottom, what I've done with this website is actually use a media file here. So this is all rotating. It's actually not going to come up, but I can play it if this will load. Like this, essentially, the file behind is all an MP4. So this here is all loaded off, and I've actually gone over the top and created these assets to mimic essentially a web design. So you've got
Right.
layers in there that you can work with really easily. There's something like this, again, with web, could be animated even more. Like for a web flow, you can have these buttons going to pages that would be further down in the design. You
Right.
can have these clicking and changing. You can create the buttons super easily. So with the, obviously, lots of people know how to create hyperlinks, but adding hyperlinks when you go into this interactive for PDF, it's a lot easier than doing it just through your wee left click. So you can see here, you can add bookmarks, hyperlinks, going into your hyperlink. It's super easy to just add it. Anything you might like I might go and grab it from the interactive file that we were just on, because that's super easy. So like adding in your hyperlinks, easy peasy. And that's going to come up. It will also come up on an interactive PDF, but it will come up on your Publish Online as well with the buttons feature. So here, if I select that bad boy and create that button that we first saw in the top page, we can click on the buttons in Forms. Super easy to use. There's lots of different types of buttons you can use. So usually you'd use this in Forms for PDF if you've got checkboxes, or if you've ever rented a property and they're like, we need you to sign this, but you can't change anything else. And that gives you that little, all that kind of fun stuff. But here we're literally just going to go for a normal button. So it's obviously something you click that takes you somewhere. You'd name it back to home page, and then the event, we're going to go on click, but you can also change it on a release. So say you clicked it and you don't want it to go anywhere whilst you hold down the mouse and then release, it can take you somewhere. And they're all little, a lot of these options are little, there's barely any difference between them, but especially for people, I mean, I'm not a web designer, but for web designers or app designers, stuff like this is very strategic, or you know, it can change the way someone looks at something, just how the features work and the features interact with each other. So you've got all those options here that you can kind of use as a draft. You actually have to add an action, but it's great because you can change the kind of actions you want to use. So you can go to a destination. It gives you the options to go to pages. You can go to URLs. So again, it can be the same as adding in a hyperlink essentially. You can go to different states of the document. You can also add sounds. So say for this, I wanted to add, say they had a theme song, I could add a click button and you can listen to music. Like some websites have their music loaded on. You can direct them to videos. So you could have a click, obviously you could have something that would click and then it would play the video. So you could even, like for this brand, you could kind of create a mock-up for a YouTube page and you could have a play button and they could press the play button and the video would play. So it gives that extra element of interactivity that's really fun. For this one, I'm just going to go to last page, go to URL. I'm just going to go to page because it's a little bit more customizable. So for the page, I'm going to choose, I'm pretty sure it's page 2 for this. And then with the buttons, the only thing is we can't actually preview the buttons. It does give you the option, but it's not going to do it. So you just have to hope it works and remember it's there. And then once you export it, it's something that you're able to use.
That's cool. That's so great.
Yeah, it's super fun. There's videos that you can add. Using layering in something like this is super important. Usually we'd probably actually chuck something like this, which acts as a frame over a video. If it loads, where are my layers? We'd usually use a working layer and then pop a new layer on top to act as the frame. Oh, that's actually going to go into a different one. Act on top so that you can go through and kind of work underneath, especially with something like a video that's going to play. So if I go back into my preview, whilst it loads itself.
It's got to load that video.
We love that video. That's the only thing. So here you can see we've got a video that plays by itself.
Yeah.
Essentially, I've taken that layer off. But when we go back in, add that over, you get that whole different framing feature,
Yeah, that's
which
perfect.
makes it really cool and super easy to use.
Yeah. And you could change out the video as well, right? Like you could
Yeah. You
pretty
can
easily.
input anything you want. It's exactly the same as importing, if this loads. It's exactly the same. Yeah, see here, you can see it's loaded. Super fun for them to use, to look at. It plays with the video. You can also export all of this once you've finished it. You can export this whole thing just as an interactive PDF, and you don't have to view it animated. So there's different options. It depends how you want it to be viewed. And obviously when your clients view it, if they want to download it, it won't be animated. So it's just making sure that everything looks okay flat as well as moving.
Yeah, I think that's an important thing when you're creating anything interactive, right? Like, what's the version look like if it won't load or something, or
yeah, that's like the only thing. But Adobe has been great to host on. I remember that was our one concern. We were like, is this going to actually load?
Yes.
when they open it, what's the client experience going to be? Because obviously there's nothing more frustrating. Like, it's cool that it moves, but there's nothing more frustrating than if something's not loading.
Totally. Yeah. Oh, exactly. I know I've heard many times like agencies or studios that are hiring and just the faux pas that are made. Because I just think about, you're talking about client presentation and creating assets and things for a client. I think that like this would be so good for a student or prospective designer to use to stand out a little bit. But
exactly.
Yeah, I do know definitely you can turn someone off if it doesn't look good in another way, because they might only view it like in a different app, or they might download it and then the animations don't work. So you have to be very clear and think about all of those steps. How is this person going to receive it? Maybe send it to your friends and family and see what they do without any
just
instruction.
to double check. Just to double check. It's great as well for people who have, like me, I guess, I have a background in animation. So even like for a lot of clients, we'll create GIF suites. So on Instagram, we've got clients where they were like, yep, we want GIFs. Even for Pink Pony, we've got some GIFs that we use that you can then upload to Giphy and play around with. But having branded ones is always quite fun. It's like a little element of something extra that you can use on your socials that people just froth over. But having something like that, whether if you're doing a GIF presentation, rather than just sending them, can you just chuck it into Instagram? It should pop up. You can kind of be like, this is what they look like. You could display all of the moving GIFs in a presentation like this so that they're super easy to see. It's also the same with any logo animations, like people who do animated logos, like even on the bottom one here, that's a logo animation we did for them that they can use across their YouTube videos for heading titles, TikToks, all of that kind of jazz. It's something where you can display that. And especially for designers where like with us as well, with brand design, whatever we present to clients, we want it to be in the best possible light and in a professional way that really not only makes us look good, but also that makes a client feel cared for, makes them feel like, yes, like I've been seen, they get me, rather than just sending them to like a random link, or if it's for a random YouTube video, if it's to like display a movie that they can't watch anywhere else online, or like a Google Drive link. It's nice to have an option that's professional. You can brand your presentation and it's consistent with what else you've been sending them.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, I love it so much. Hey, we got a question from chat from June. Can you use this to create a media kit?
Oh, I think you definitely could. There's lots of different options. Well, I really wouldn't see why not.
Yeah.
It's something like we created for this brand with their brand guidelines. So something that they will essentially use to send to their content creators, to send to any other designers that will be working with them, with web designers to work on their website, app designers. Their brand guidelines are animated, and we did include like icon GIFs, their logo animations. So it's something that they can use both flat without the animations and with to send to people to then refer back to for styling, for animations. I wouldn't use it if there's a certain animated element. I did visual effects and animation in university. If there's a specific animated style or like effect on certain things that is specific to the brand, I wouldn't use it, just because the animations are limited unless you're using GIFs to express that or video files. But if it's simple, I think it's perfect. Otherwise, use the Adobe portfolio to host your larger, more high def videos.
Yeah. It's funny, as we go through it, I was thinking about the use cases, and I'm just thinking about, like, you know, creating a media kit for like speakers, like, or something. Like if you're a personality or something, could be quite cool. Like it's really nice when you sort of ask for someone for their headshot and bio and stuff. And they're like, hey, here's my link that I send everyone. That's pretty niche, I think. Like, but it's very cool. And I was thinking you could even do it with this, like with your logo or your brand, and you could have hyperlinks leading out to a Dropbox or a Google Drive or something where you download all of the like related assets. So you could almost show it in situ. Like you could say, hey, here's what we look like as a favicon, or here's what it looks like when it's really big on a bus or something. And then you could link to the specific asset that they should use. Like you could get really micro with it. Of course, if you moved a thing, the whole thing could crumble.
Exactly. But yeah, it's like using, Dropbox links. Oh, it's raining. No. It's like using your whole Dropbox links, like for the brand presentation for this. If I was to go back up to the logos, you can have, I think it would be, in terms of user, UX, user experience, user interface, how a client would be inclined to use it. A lot of the times getting a PDF, they're not automatically going to be like, oh yes, I should click on this.
Yeah, right.
But like the same with these, with that toolbar, it'd be fantastic if you could be like, yes, I'm going to click on intro and it's going to take me there. But you would either need the client to feel inclined to click it, be like, oh yes, I'm going to click around this PDF, or have some sort of instruction either pre the presentation or on here, be like, click to go or something.
But you could animate a little arrow.
A little arrow, like have a click, even if it's on the first page. You know how you get with a lot of apps now, they have the little drop downs and the little arrows or the little glowing, be like, click here, little mini tutorials. You could have a wee mini tutorial for your clients. But having the idea of being able to go click on this and it takes you to a link to their final logo files, or their illustrations, or their social media kit for the posts that we've created for them, or like template links to Instagram reel templates. So it would actually be a fantastic use for that, especially if you wanted a kind of all-in-one where they could be like, I just want to open this one document and then I can go wherever I need, rather than being like, oh, I need to look at that email where they told me where to find my logos. I need to look at that, WhatsApp where they mentioned how I'm supposed to do this specific thing. So it's definitely something that you could kind of use very creatively. I think there's probably a lot of untapped potential in here that if people felt so inclined, they could easily do.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Something I will show as well, just so people actually know how to export these, because it's not the same as usual. You obviously go into your file, and where you'd usually save as, or go to your export, you're actually going to go publish online. And this wee section here is essentially where you'll find all of your published documents. So you're recently published. You can kind of see what you've published online. You've also got your dashboard. I'll see if this loads. Whoa. So I can see all of my kind of documents. You've got your public links, you've got your dates modified, your sharing links, and the analytics of people who've actually seen it. So it's super easy. Yeah, super easy for you to go through and see past things you've done. And it also will save past iterations. So if you're, re-updating a file like I showed before, so for publish online, if you're redoing whilst this loads and updating an existing document, it will save iterations. But so for this, I can go through and save over any of these. With your advanced features, you can also obviously do the same as what you would do with a PDF document. You can choose certain pages to export. You can get really jiggy with all of the JPEG quality, you've got GIF, GIF options. So there's obviously a lot of things you can do with that. But with general, if you're going to go publishing a new document, I'm just going to go V1 in case there's something there. You can also add descriptions. So I could be like, hey, Ahana, look at this. It's sick.
Get jiggy with it.
Get jiggy. Is it jiggy a G or a J?
I would go with J. Yeah, I think it's
a J. Yeah, surely.
Will Smith, if you're watching, let us know.
Let us know. We're big fans. And then you can also do things like enable password protection. So say if you're in a position where you were working for a company or you were looking for a new job and you had projects that you're really proud of, but they haven't launched yet, which people get a lot with brand design, you can, like websites, which a lot of people do with their portfolio websites, you can enable password protection so that people can, like, I don't know, send it to someone and be like, hey, this isn't launched yet, keep it confidential, but this is my portfolio.
Yeah.
Or whatever else you want to put password protection on. And then essentially we just go publish. It does take a little bit longer than publishing a PDF purely because it's got all of those links. It embeds everything into the file so that, yes, ignore that. See this warning, which I've left in to showcase what I said at the start, where if you have an MOV, it's going to tell you it's not good. So see here, it just says only MP4 videos. So then you know, but they still work anyway, but it will just be a quicker loading time, essentially, if you use your MP4s. But then you get your little publish online, upload speed varies on the internet, but it will essentially upload it into the cloud and you've got the ability to share the links. You can share them onto social platforms. If, say, you wanted to make a social media story and be like, check out my portfolio or check out this, you can have the link and it will load on phones, it will load on iPads. So it's something that could be quite fun and accessible. If you had a project, you were like, yeah, I'm really proud of this, but I can't be bothered putting it on a whole nother file to make it, you know, the right size for Instagram or for a story. You can just have it as this interactive file and people can go through and it's fantastic.
That's super cool.
Yeah, it's honestly, I think it's a great tool to play around with, explore. It's like when generative fill and AI came out with exploring the different options and the kind of unexplored ideas of what you can use it for is always really fun and exciting.
Always interesting to think about, like how could it work? How could people use this like feature? And it's never what you expect. There's always something like, oh yeah, that would be great for that.
Yeah, like there's so many different things you could do. And I think it's super fun. Like I love getting a little animated something.
Yeah. And even like getting a little lo-fi with it, right? Like sometimes because your background is with, you know, making things move and stuff. And, you know, I know we've had animators on before and just like go, cool, can I do some animating in Photoshop stuff? Because it's just really fun to get like really like get into the timeline and do some frame by frame animation, and it can have like a particular look and feel and things as well.
Exactly, 100%. It's something that's a little bit fun and different, and it's almost the nostalgia of it as well. It really is like back to basics, not anything super hard. Anyone can do it, and it's almost finding a way to see how far you can push the technology without it needing to outpace itself and become super complicated and you know, very intuitive for just designers. It's fun to see how far you can push it and edge it out until it breaks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you're kind of hacking it together, right? It's like, well, okay, that didn't work. Well, what if I, you know, use this type of file format, or you know, what if I did multiple PNGs and then threw that in and did this, or you know, exported a video frame by frame to do this, you know.
Yeah, and there's no no way that you can really go too far. Like you can just keep adding what you want. Like the InDesign files, they actually hold up really well in terms of, especially when it's animated within the document using the animation features, it really just keeps going.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But this, oh, she's almost done.
Almost done.
Just give it a shake and maybe it will load faster.
Yeah, it works totally.
It works. But obviously here you've got your link. So like anything else, you can copy a link to your clipboard, send it out. You can share. It's got great sharing. You've got your publish online dashboard. So again, we'll go back to exactly what page we were on and it pops up here. So it's super easy to see, super easy to share. And yeah, it's a great wee little hack. If you're ever needing, even if it's just to show a video to a client where you're like, even if it's like for a creative direction for them, you might be like, I think you need to start filming your videos exactly like this. You can just pop it in there for reference.
Could be a single page like PDF that you just wanted to flick over and use as an example. Yeah,
exactly. But yeah, that's any questions?
Yeah, no, not for me. I thought it was super cool. Ask my questions as we were going along. But yeah, hope the audience, hope you guys really enjoyed that. I hope there's some people out there who are maybe thinking about using this technique somehow, like in their portfolio or, maybe even a resume. I'm starting to think like, interactive resume.
Surely that'll get you some brownie points.
It could work. The right people love that sort of stuff. But super cool. Thank you so much, Gabby. And we're back tomorrow and we're doing something totally different. So do you want to do a little bit of a plug for tomorrow?
Oh yes, tomorrow, which actually is heavily inspired by the boss, Christy Campbell, at Pink Pony, we've been using generative AI quite heavily. We've really been doing our best to, rather than be left behind,
like to AI stay at the forefront of
we're doing all that we can to integrate that into how we work. And so I'm just going to be using something that especially generative fill, but now they've got so many new features, used to create mock-ups. That was something that we really pushed, just to be able to use generative fill to enhance imagery, mock-ups, and like general spaces so that we can really emulate what the client wants and what we believe the creative direction should be. Because obviously a lot of the time with mock-ups, you see them and you're like, oh, this is great, but I wish it was surrounded by fire, or or I wish it was raining meteorites. Like there's just so many, which could, there's a creative direction, and it's fantastic being able to have a photographer on hand, which obviously lots of bigger brands do. You can, just be like, oh, I really need a photo of someone in the shoes, and be like, oh, get the in-house photographer in and let's just quickly pop to the studio, get some snaps. But a lot of the time you don't have that. And especially when you're creating a brand and there's no guarantee the client's going to like it. So you don't want to spend money on doing a whole photo shoot or, rolling with this one concept that's potentially going to be turned down.
Yeah.
So being able to find aesthetics that you like, different look styles, different colors of things, because especially with presentations, sometimes they're like, oh, I love it, but I want the red gone and I want it to be green.
Yeah.
And being able to change that at the click of a button is fantastic. And it's great to be able to kind of figure out what the client wants and really get that direction across in a full way, rather than the mock-ups having to kind of be like, oh yeah, that's fine. You get to really set the scene for the client.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Yeah. Well, that's tomorrow. So same time. It's going to be 12 o'clock here in Sydney. The same time as today, wherever you are in the world. So we will see you all tomorrow. Gabby, thank you again so much. It's lovely hanging out with you.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. See you tomorrow. Bye, everyone.
See you tomorrow.